But without further ado this lunchtime, let's get straight to the Chelsea takeover situation. There's been significant developments today in the race to buy the club from Roman Abramovich. To bring us up to speed, as you can see, Chief Reporter Kaveh Solhekol is here. Kaveh, let's start with American interest then, and a formal offer from the US businessman Todd Boehly and Swiss billionaire Hansjorg Wyss. Tell us about this one.
Yes, they are the first people to put in a bid for Chelsea, but the bid is not at the level that I think Roman Abramovich was asking for. He wants about £3 billion. I think most people think that that valuation is too high, but Todd Boehly especially is somebody who has tried to buy Chelsea in the past. About 4 years ago, he offered £2.2 billion for Chelsea. He didn't succeed in buying the club at that time. But of course, this time around, Roman Abramovich wants to sell. So they're the first people who've shown their hand. There is lots of other interest in America. That's where most of the interest is coming from. For instance, the Ricketts family, who own the Chicago Cubs. They're interested as well. Also, Josh Harris, who owns the Philadelphia 76ers basketball team in the States. He also co-owns a minority stake in Crystal Palace. So that would complicate him being involved in a consortium to buy Chelsea. And there's also interest reportedly from the former US ambassador to the United Kingdom, a man called Woody Johnson, who's not commenting on the moment, not commenting on reports linking him with a move for Chelsea. He owns the New York Jets NFL team. He was the ambassador to the UK for 4 years, lived in London. He went to see Chelsea quite a lot, so he's another name in the frame. Most of the interest at the moment coming from the US. There is some interest in Europe as well.
Okay. Closer to home, though. You've been speaking with Nick Candy's representatives this morning. What did they have to say?
Well, Nick Candy is a luxury property developer. He's made a lot of money along with his brother developing properties in central London. Sort of mega £1 million properties. He also happens to be a Chelsea supporter, Chelsea season ticket holder, and he has confirmed that he is trying to put a consortium together to buy Chelsea. His spokesperson has provided a quote for us, which was also in a few newspapers this morning, and he says, Mr. Candy is actively exploring a number of options for a potential bid for Chelsea. Any bid would be made in conjunction with another party, and we have serious interest from several international partners. Mr. Candy has a huge affinity with Chelsea. He's been watching matches at Stamford Bridge since the age of 4. The club deserves a world-class stadium and infrastructure, and Mr. Candy's unique expertise and background in real estate would be a hugely valuable asset to delivering this vision. Of course, what they're talking about there is the fact that it's generally accepted that Stamford Bridge needs to be redeveloped or Chelsea need to build a new stadium. It was something that Roman Abramovich was considering doing until he dropped his plans in 2018. And of course, Nick Candy is somebody who's made all his money from property in central London. So you would think that he would be well placed to oversee the redevelopment of Stamford Bridge or the building of a new stadium. I don't think on his own he has the money to be able to buy Chelsea, and he makes it very clear in the statement that's been released that he is looking at forming a consortium with other interested parties.
Okay. So quite a lot of information I am processing, Kaveh, that you've just told me there. Okay. How does this all actually work? Is Chelsea an enticing proposition? I mean, I know they're world and European champions, but football is an expensive business. And how do these individuals move from interest to bids to buying?
Well, look, the sale is being marketed by investment bank, the Rain Group. They've been appointed by Roman Abramovich to handle the sale. And if you want to buy Chelsea, you contact them. or they contact you. They've been contacting people who they know are interested in buying Premier League clubs. What then you need to do is sign a non-disclosure agreement, show that you have proof of funds to be able to afford to buy Chelsea. And then at that stage, you will be given access to financial information about Chelsea, so you know what you will be buying. And as far as Rain are concerned, they want opening offers to be in by the 15th of March, which is next Tuesday. Now, as far as the price is concerned, £3 billion in today's climate is a lot of money, and it's far more than anyone has ever paid for a football club anywhere in the world. I suppose the other issue you've got is a lot of people who buy football clubs buy it as what they like to call a project. So they like to buy something, spend some money on it, make it even more successful. The problem you've got with Chelsea is they're already very, very successful. They're the world and European champions. And also at £3 billion, and then probably another £1 billion to redevelop the stadium or build a new stadium, that is a £4 billion investment. And how much is that going to be worth in the future? What is your return on that investment going to be? By way of comparison, for instance, Newcastle United was sold for £300 million. And the people who bought that club think if we can sort this out, throw some money at it, develop the club, buy better players, then in a few years' time, we could be worth billions. But I think Chelsea at £3 billion plus the £1 billion that it would take to redevelop the stadium looks very, very expensive. And I'd be very surprised if Roman Abramovich got the £3 billion that he was asking for.
OK, we watch and wait.